192,000 people in Palm Beach County struggle with hunger, and on the Treasure Coast, more than 250,000 people rely on food banks. This morning, we're focusing on food insecurity in both Palm Beach and Martin counties, and the collaboration throughout the community taking action to end hunger. Let's go on the record.
From WPBF 25, this is On the Record with Nathalie Pozo.
Good morning. Communities are still feeling the effects even months after the government shutdown and a delay in SNAP benefits. The mission of Cross Ministries is to provide food for the hungry and the people who are food insecure. We have with us this morning Ruth Magaria, the CEO of Cross Ministries, with more on the action that you guys are taking to end hunger. Ruth, always wonderful to see you.
Always good to see you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yes.
So with people who are not familiar, what is Cross Ministries?
So Cross Ministries is a nonprofit that has been around in our community since 1978. Our mission is very simple: to make sure people have food to eat. And we do this through our community collaborations, both within the faith-based community, nonprofits, businesses. I always believe we can all come together and agree that people need food to eat.
We mentioned the government shutdown and the delay in SNAP benefits. Months later, are we still seeing the effect of that?
Yes. And you know what the government shutdown actually did? It just elevated a problem that was there. Nathalie, it's hard to believe, but the numbers that we're seeing right now, it's worse than it was during COVID. At Cross Ministries, we have seen a 71% increase in people needing food assistance in the last 5 years. And the people and the face of hunger has changed. It could be the person sitting next to me at my place of worship. It might be the child sitting next to my child in school. It could be the senior who is out in the community who decided to retire in Florida because Florida is nice and warm. And then they're hit by the cost of living, HOA fees, rent, mortgages, you name it. Housing is a big driver to what we're seeing in our community.
I want to talk a little bit about those HOA fees because we've done so many stories where unfortunately you see the population who moved to Florida to retire thinking, hey, we have a set salary, a set income, I should say.
Yes.
And then these HOA fees just doubled and even tripled for some people.
Yes, and that's what it's done. So if you're coming here, you have a fixed income, and then that tripled. You don't have money to buy food, and so whatever you had put on in your budget to buy food, you have to you decide to pay it somewhere else to make sure you have a roof over your head, and then you come to our food assistance program. So that's huge.
It's just a domino effect because then you're forced to sell, but people are not necessarily buying right now. We have high interest rates, and then kind of what do you do? So do you feel that maybe what the community, what the population would think are people who are food insecure is not who you may think they are?
The people who are food insecure is not who we think we are. A lot of people coming to, for example, all of our programs, many of them have jobs. The money just isn't enough. And a lot of people are having to make the choice. Do I pay my rent? Do I buy food? Do I pay my HOA fee? Do I buy food? Do I fix my car so that I can get to work and pay my bills, or do I buy food? Do I put gas in my car, or do I buy food? So a lot of people are having to make those choices. Those
really
are very
choices,
difficult choices. Do I buy medication because I'm sick and pay my health insurance, or do I buy food? Lots of, a lot of times having to make those choices. And those are difficult choices because everything is important.
Absolutely. Talk to me about the partnerships that Cross Ministries has with the community and just how essential those are.
So one of the things that's very central to the work that we do is that we do it through collaborations with partners in the community. We would not be able to do what we do without it. As I said at the beginning, we can all come together and help those in our community who are in need to make sure they have food at their table. And so whether people, and as I'm talking about Cross, I'm also talking about a lot of our other agencies, both in Martin and Palm Beach counties, that help with food. So whether people are doing food drives, whether you come and volunteer, whether you're going into the fields and you're helping recover fresh produce, we would not be able to do the work that we do. For us at Cross Ministries, for example, we work with a lot of volunteers that come from different parts of our community. And so we have a small, lean staff, but we're able to make sure that through the collaborations and partnerships we have, whether it's the municipalities, whether it's faith communities, they allow us to have space for our food pantries, for our different programs. We would not be able to do the things that we do alone. And I feel we all need to come together and make sure that that happens.
Yeah, it definitely takes community, right?
Yes.
Ruth, would you say that some of these partnerships, some of these collaborations, maybe alert cross ministries to the things that you may not realize are going on, or maybe people who need help?
Yes, a lot of what our the partnerships do is our partnerships are in different parts of the community. It allows Cross to go into the different parts of the community that we wouldn't be. We're in Delray Beach, we're in Indiantown in Martin County, we're in Belglade, we're in Wellington, places that we wouldn't be, and that's because we have been invited by these different partners to take a food pantry there, to take a hot meal program there, to go out and recover gleaned produce. And that way we are able to do what we need to do right in the communities that need them.
Ruth, I wanted to ask you, I know you mentioned the cost of living is one of the main reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing right now. What about the immigration operations that are happening here in our communities? Is that contributing also?
Yes, that's contributing, and sometimes we have people who don't know whether they can come to us, they're afraid.
They're scared,
and that's a reality. But for us at Cross and others, we are there to help whoever comes to us because people need food regardless. And I have to say this, that a lot of times, as I said about the face of hunger, the face of hunger are our children. The face of hunger are our seniors. The face of hunger is the people who are working so hard to make ends meet, and yet have to make the choice, do I eat today or do I make sure that my child has food to eat? It's the grandmother who's taking care of her grandchildren because she's now the guardian.
Right.
And she had already worked her life, she's now retired, but here are her children, her grandchildren that she needs to make sure they eat.
What programs within Cross Ministries do you guys also do besides the food, the food insecure? What else do you focus on?
So a lot of what we do is food insecure, and we provide, food pantry, groceries through our food pantries. We also provide hot meals, both to those who are homebound as well as to those who are need food in Delray Beach. And then we also go out into the fields. Palm Beach County and Martin counties are very rich agricultural communities. And there's a lot of food that sometimes is in the fields that needs to be recovered so that it doesn't go to waste. And so we're able to make sure that that food goes out into both Cross Ministries and also into our different food banks and make sure that people have food to eat. Because at the end of the day, food is medicine. Food is foundational, and so we want to make sure that it's not just about making sure people have food to eat, but it's healthy food to eat.
Absolutely. Ruth, always a pleasure to see
Thank
you. And again, thank you for providing such insight on what's a very important topic here in our community. Coming up, we're going to continue our conversation with Cross Ministries and their outreach programs.
You're watching On the Record on WPBF 25.
Welcome back. We continue our conversation this morning with Emily Zarzycki. She is the Director of Outreach at Cross Ministries. Emily, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Yeah, likewise. So talk to us about your role over at Cross Ministries.
I've served on our team for 13 years, and throughout our time there, things have changed. But currently, my job is to be in the community, educating people on hunger, food insecurity, working with volunteers to come into our programs, serve, and to bring in food, to go out and get groups to do food drives with us.
Yeah. So 13 years, that's a very long time. What have you kind of seen in those 13 years?
We've seen an increase. I thought that when COVID hit, that would be like the ultimate, but as we saw our benefits go away here this past fall, that's probably the craziest thing that I've seen. We had lines beyond lines. We ran out of food at a couple sites because we just weren't expecting so many people during that time. I've stayed 13 years because I'm as passionate today as I was when I started, because the need is greater today than it was when I started. And so I still strongly believe in what we do and helping the people in our community.
Talk to us a little bit about just your passion for it and what made you want to get involved with Cross Ministries.
I think for me, I love the kids and seniors in our community. So when I started at that time, I was working in all of our children's programming, and I still get to do that today. But I think that it's just people don't know. And so I have the privilege of going out and sharing what is here in Palm Beach and Martin County, who the people are, what the stories are, and how other people can be involved and connected to them. Because if people don't know, people can't help. And so that's one of the things that I'm very passionate about.
Emily, what do you want to say to, to people who may be stereotyping, or even judging, about people who are in need of help when it comes to food?
I think for me, and having an answer for that, because that is something people ask us regularly.
Yeah.
Like, you're not the first person who's come and said, what do we think? I think for me, I'm reminded that I could be that person.
Mm-hmm.
I am a person who works, and my husband works. But if we both didn't work, we wouldn't be able to survive with the cost of living. We would be people who would be going to food pantries ourselves and getting food. And so I think that we can't judge because we don't know the circumstances behind people. We don't know where they've come from. We don't know if they were laid off or if their paycheck was cut. And so when you come to see us at Cross, I make the process, and so does our team, as easy as possible. There's no questions asked. We love you. We care for you.
You just want to help.
We make sure what they need, and then we send them on their way. If we're needed for just a short period of time, that's what we're here for. If we're needed long term till somebody gets back on their feet, then we're there for the long term till somebody gets back on their feet.
And we talked about the government shutdown with Ruth in our previous segment, and you had people who, like you said, are working, and then they went weeks without getting a paycheck. This was the longest U.S. government shutdown in the history of the United States. So people like that, you said, are just reaching out here for help. What is a story that just touches you personally? Not to put you on the spot, but what's a story about someone maybe you met, a family you met?
I have the privilege to oversee our Jupiter location and our Belglade location. And when the shutdown first happened, I met an air traffic controller from PBI Airport who came in and said, my wife and I are living paycheck to paycheck. I just lost, my job in essence until they were going to reopen. And he had said he never in his entire life had come to a food pantry. He didn't know where to begin. He didn't know what to bring. I mean, he was just completely overwhelmed, and it wasn't his fault.
Right.
And so we sat that day, we got him all checked in. I got to meet his wife, I got to meet his child, just to let people know, like, we're here. And you don't have to feel a way about coming in, you know?
And like you said, you never know somebody's story.
Exactly.
Yeah. We talked with Ruth also a little bit about just how critical partnerships are in the community. How do you feel about that?
We can't do what we do without partnerships. And I know that she said that in her first segment, but partnerships are key because we as one agency can't solve the problem of hunger. But if we all come together with different agencies and we get to work together, we're at greater odds of working together to solve hunger.
How essential are volunteers for all that they do for you guys?
I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't have them. We have volunteers that serve in all of our programs. We have approximately 250 who are with us year-round between gleaning, food pantries, as well as the Caring Kitchen program in Delray. And some of them are snowbirds who come back and visit with us, and they volunteer while they're here, and some of them are year-round. And then our gleaning program is about 3,700 volunteers.
Wow.
And the point that I want to share with you there is out of that big number, what's amazing is about 2,500 of them are students that are coming from their local schools, who are doing field trips, who want to give back, want to make a contribution to the community. And so that says something about our partnerships, that we connect well and we want to be with people and we want to give kids that experience. Very few children in our community know where that green pepper comes from. So when they have an opportunity to come out and have that experience, for many of them it's life-changing and they keep coming back.
Emily, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. Next, we're going to sit down with one of the organizations collaborating with Cross Ministries and the need for partnerships like this. Welcome back. House of Hope is one of the many organizations Cross Ministries works with. We have Rob Ranieri with us this morning. He's the Chief Executive Officer at House of Hope, continuing our conversation this morning on just hunger and food insecurity. Welcome, Rob. Good morning.
Good morning.
So talk to us about House of Hope.
Sure. So we are an empowerment model organization. Our mission is to empower residents to overcome hunger and hardship. And we do that really in two lanes. We have a basic needs concentration, so food, clothing, financial assistance, and then we have life skills. So we have 3 enrichment centers. We focus on nutrition education, language skills, computer skills, employment support, health programs, a range of services and programs. Everything we do is no cost. We're also a food bank, so we have about 30 food partners across Martin, St. Lucie, Okeechobee, and into Palm Beach. We have a farm. We grow our own food, so we have about 100,000 cubic feet of hydroponic greenhouse growing space. And then we have a really robust nutrition education program that reaches just about every elementary school, and then all kinds of other youth agencies and community partners for that as well.
Why is it so critical to have those kind of programs in elementary schools?
So what we're trying to do is really influence health for people. What we see in our work is health quite often is the obstacle or the barrier that keeps a household from reaching its potential. So we use food and education to change habits, to change opinions, to get people to eat well, to learn to cook well, all those good things. And starting with kids is a great way to do it, because if we can put those habits into kids at a young age, they'll carry them with them through their lives.
Rob, what do you say, or what do you do when people are dealing with wanting to eat healthy, but unfortunately the cost of healthy food is more?
It's a massive issue. So our 4 food pantries across the community, that's the answer to that. We're putting our fresh food in there that we grow. We have a partnership with FarmShare, which is a statewide organization that brings us fresh food every week that we distribute out across our 4 locations and through our partnerships as well across the region. So we can help people overcome that obstacle by providing them good, healthy food. We distributed about 1.7 million pounds of food last year, and about over 40% of that was fresh and healthy. So we're really proud of that.
Yeah, that's definitely something to be really proud about. How does House of Hope do all of this? Seems like you guys have a lot of tools and resources.
We've got a great team of people. Our staff is about 50 people strong, committed to the mission, but volunteers. I know you talked about that in the other segments as well.
Oh, we love to hear it though. Go ahead.
Volunteers are absolutely vital to our work. They're in every facet of our organization. Last year we were fortunate enough to have over 1,200 volunteers give us over 42,000 hours. So we couldn't do what we do without that.
Yeah, and how can people get involved if they do want to volunteer?
So tons of ways with us. And our website will give you everything, hohmartin.org. You can volunteer in our pantries, at our farm, in our enrichment centers, administratively, every facet of what we do, supporting our case management team. There's lots of ways for people to get involved and engaged and find what they're passionate about.
Rob, how has the federal funding cuts impacted House of Hope?
So we took a big hit. We, within about a week span, we had 3 different grants that were federal driven, whether it was direct or through the state. And we lost all of them in a week. So it was a rough week, over $300,000, which for us is a big amount of money.
That's a lot, yeah.
So that definitely sent us scrambling. We didn't want to cut programs or services or alter what we do. We needed to keep everything no cost. So the community responded in an amazing fashion for us, providing financial support from small donations to big ones, and providing even more food donations than what they normally do, and giving us their time. So all 3 of those things helped us to overcome the loss of those federal dollars.
Does it just warm your heart seeing how the community comes together in a time of need like that?
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. We put out sort of a little plea when the government shutdown happened, and the response was amazing. And, we typically, at our main office in Stewart, we might get 100 pounds a day of donated food. We started to get over 1,000 pounds a day of donated food coming through the doors. I mean, it was really remarkable. The community did everything they could, from people bringing their get one frees of their buy one, get ones, to bringing truckloads of food. We had dozens of new partners do food drives for us. I mean, it was really remarkable. And again, because of that response and support, we could meet the need, which is really vital.
Well, Rob, thank you for everything you do for our communities, and thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Thank you for making us a part of your morning. As always, we encourage you to be part of our discussion each and every Sunday right here at 10 a.m. Until then, you can watch this morning's On the Record and every episode on our website, WPBF.com, and our free WPBF 25 News app. Have a wonderful Sunday. We'll see you again next weekend.